it'll have the basically the dimensions of the box. And when you put in a quantity, let's say you want 10 cases of this item, it will give you the total number of cubes for that item, and then it will also total all of your items. So, for instance, if you pick 10 different items and you've got 6 cubes of each, 60 cubes is what fits on your standard 40-foot container. Now, realistically, you usually get 57, 58, something like that. 70 cubes on a high cube. But once again, like Mike said, you still fall under the weight restrictions for the highway law. So sometimes you run into an issue where, yeah, it'll all fit on the container, but a whole container of firecrackers, it's just not feasible. So sometimes you do have to adjust by that. But it's actually a very simple program now because you can just cube it out and you can adjust as you go. You can adjust your order based off of how many cubes you got at that point in time. I know a lot of people when we first did that, had some problems, but now it's just a very simple program. It's an Excel file too. You can download and upload it.
Yeah, and just in fairness to the program, as Mick's describing, you may have placed an order for 55 cubes. We have everything there, but it only totals 50 cubes. We're waiting on one item. You're going to get a call or an email or some sort of communication from Corey and his team that says, hey, we could go ahead and ship this now, but we may have to make 2 to 3 item changes, what we call subbing out the container at that point. You will obviously always be asked for that. You'll always have say into what you want put on, but you can always say, I want to wait till the exact item I want is available, even though we may recommend, hey, we recommend you're only waiting on 4 or 5 more cubes. Let's go ahead and, can we make some substitutions here and get this thing already on the water to you? And I know a lot of container customers have had those conversations with Corey and his team, and that's a real advantage that we have because we're very proactive in how we approach that, looking at, all right, you're 90% completed, we're just waiting on these 2 or 3 items and they may not be made for another 4 weeks. Do you want to wait that 4 weeks? Or here's what we have available in our warehouse. We actually sent to some of our container customers this spring, here's everything that's sitting in our warehouse, here's how many cubes you have left, what would be your top 5 choices as to how you would want to top off your container, and we could go with that on the next available vessel. And that's a way that, so it's just not sitting there waiting on 2, 3, 4 items maybe for the last 6 or 8 cubes. That makes sense? Any other questions? Back here, Danny. That's $1 million question. All I can tell you is, Jake, what would you say the number is on the average acquisition cost?
I would tell everybody, you're going to save 10% or more. If you buy all generic, you're not going to save. Everybody, I don't care who it is, in the business will tell you there's no money in generic. You're not going to save that. What you do save is the freight from me to you. So if you're picking up in Pittsburgh and shipping it down to Tennessee or whatever, you're going to save that freight because it's going to come back to you.
Yeah. And we, that's an interesting thing. We could have Corey run that report, but yeah. Anything? Someone in the middle? Yes, sir.
Do you have a special order form online to order from containers?
The question is if we have an online order form for the container program, and I think if we were to give Ben another IT project this spring that he might actually jump. No, but that in our 3-year plan, that's certainly one of the things that we're working and evaluating and looking towards. There's so many more items that are available in that program or in the direct ship program or container program that it would literally be tons of lines. It's not a hard thing for them to do, but right now we really were focusing on the domestic side for the wholesale customer to be able to online order, but that is certainly in our strategic plan for our e-commerce and web commerce plan to be able to do that in the future.
If I want to place an order for Christmas after the where would I go to make the order?
The question is if you wanted to place a container order for the Christmas season, when would you make that decision or where?
How would I make it?
You contact myself and Corey or Mick, and we would get with you as soon as possible so that we could go ahead and have those things ordered for you, manufactured, produced, and everything at this. Now would be the time to do that. If you already, in fact, we've taken several container orders for folks that have a Christmas season this month. Well, April and May. We could probably go into June or July, but obviously it's just like the summer season. The earlier and the more specific you are and know what you want, the better it is.
You tie into the European season for our Christmas season production, ties into the European season and the Chinese domestic market. And the Chinese domestic market, as everybody's heard us preach year after year, since the load of it, and it's just grown unbelievably. So what happens is those factories will kick over to making either domestic product or European product. So it becomes very difficult to get the product out, especially when you order in September, October. Most people, when they order for the Christmas season, will actually order prior to the 4th of July season, which I know is difficult to do, but if you want a certain, percentage of the product, it's almost a must.
So what we'd do at this point was we'd show you the items that are available. We could even show you what's already sitting in the warehouse that's already manufactured and produced, work with you very proactively on that order. Maybe you come to us and say, well, it looks like you only have 50%, but maybe based on what's already there, sitting, waiting, and could be shipped, maybe be at 80% already right now. So if you had an idea what that order would look like. Unfortunately, well, you probably want to see how you do through the season, see how much you have left, and then would want to predict what you would need for Christmas. But if you have an idea right now, that's something that we could go ahead and start. Any other question on this program? These are Mick's just flipping through all the labels of Cutting Edge. I think this will be strolling or streaming downstairs tonight during dinner as well if you have specific items in the Cutting Edge brand. Any questions on Cutting Edge? We didn't spend a lot of time on describing it, but this is going to really take on a lot of the same product mix that we carried in our Mega Banger brand. It's sort of replacing Mega Banger. We still have Mega Banger available, but Cutting Edge is going to be the brand that will be leading sort of after World Class and Boomer Brothers and then Cutting Edge. Sir? Yes, ma'am. At this time, it's available on the drop ship program only. That's always subject to change, but our thought was make Cutting Edge available only on the container program for people that wanted a different product mix that were buying it this way. Obviously, every season there may be something that's just we have 10 ton of or over. Somebody couldn't take their full shipment. Who knows what the situation may be, but if we were to end up with it, it may be available in limited quantities or limited numbers, just based on somebody that maybe couldn't take or fulfill their full order. But the way it's designed right now, we really want to keep that exclusive or specific to the container program customer. Yes, sir, Scott? That's a good question. Scott's asking when the payment is due. Freight and duty is due when that box hits the ship and the ship hits the water, and well, when it leaves that port from the crane loading it. The freight, duty, all those things are due up front because they're due from us up front. And then the rest of that would be based on the financial terms that you already have negotiated, whether you've done a credit application, cash up front. We obviously prefer cash up front in most cases, but we understand how that goes. But the freight and duties due the minute it hits the water and leaves the port in China.
So what's the average? I think it's specifics. One container, how much is freight duty on one container?
Well, that changed like $1,200, $1,400 in one day. I don't know, 9,000 to 12,000 I think is a safe bet. It's a range that we're seeing right now.